Hello and welcome to this introductory video about our new program and project, MyMilitaryConnection. Um, just a short video to try and explain who we are, what we are, and why we're doing this. As I click through the site to show you some of the different links that we put together as resources, I'll try and explain why we're doing this. Although the main purpose of our site you can find pretty easy on our front page. But at the heart of this was the struggle that I watched my father have when he retired. My Military Connection is literally about trying to help veterans, service members, and dependents, spouses, and us brats, because I was a brat as well as a retired vet myself. Not lose track of those people that we meet across the military careers of our sponsors. And then when we are the sponsors ourselves, even in today's age of social media, it's easy to lose track of people. So I was talking with a friend of mine this past July, and she reminded me of this idea that I'd had way back in the late 90s when a friend of mine and I were discussing how we could build a database to assist people. I said I was going to click on a link, so I should. This is the finance and benefits section, where we put together just a good bunch of links for folks. But during that conversation, tools for this is actually a pretty nice mortgage calculator for VA home loans and a car loan calculator. But we were talking and we were trying to remember this guy's name and couldn't do it. We eventually did, but it reminded me of the conversation that I had with my friend back in the late 90s after watching my dad try for years to locate a friend of his, only to find out from his friend's wife when he finally did get in touch with her that his friend had passed away. And it kind of hurt my dad. And I remember thinking if there was some place that could bring it all together for military vets and dependents, that people like my dad wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't have to suffer that anymore. So this idea was actually born back then. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have a very angry blind cat. But this is the healthcare and support section. I was unaware that we had our separate Veterans Crisis Line hosted by the National Prevention Lifeline and the Veterans Crisis Text Line. I thought that would be something important that we should put in here for folks. Jobs and careers, transitions. There's some resources that digging through this, I wish I had known when I retired myself back in 2010. So I'm hoping that these links will become useful for people as they get ready to transition themselves. Again, scholarships and some grant programs that I wish I had been aware of as a young man prior to joining the service. I might have picked a different path in life. I don't know that all of these were available back then, but there are definitely some that are targeted towards vets and service members, but there's also some like the American Legion's Legacy Scholarship helps the families of fallen disabled vets. There's also the Fisher House scholarships for military children and dependents. I've discussed this with several people over the course of getting the site set up, and they were unaware of this for their own children. So I'm hoping that these links will be useful as well. We put together some the military individual education program. I myself am a quote-unquote graduate of the Community College of the Air Force and some military-friendly universities. I know a ton of folks who are IT related who've gone through Western Governors University, because it not only does Western Governors offer a pretty affordable tuition rate, they accept the GI Bill without an issue. As you progress through and get your degree, you also wind up with the various certifications that IET Level 2 and Level 3 require for government service or for government administrators. I know a lot of vets turned contractors that that's how they got their initial certifications and continue to maintain them. So for veterans, just the different organizations that are available to us out there, not just the national site, but I went out and found every locator that I could and put them out there. There was a couple that I did not realize that should get more visibility than they do, like the Paralyzed Veterans of America, the Military Order of the Purple Heart. You know, this is, if you can't find a local post, here's where you can go and find one. There's discount sites that aggregate different ways for military people to save based off of who they are and how they served. And then there is the different verification sites. I've found that ID Me and We Salute Plus are widely used. I know that I've used ID Me myself for discounts to take my daughters on various excursions like Busch Gardens, or we've even gone to Six Flags. I know that my in-laws have used it for various other travel. So once again, I tried to, not I, but we tried to do the best we could to make this a comprehensive, you can find something useful if you just visit the site. One thing that I learned, I've known about the Halekoa. I've stayed there in Hawaii myself. I've stayed at the Shades of Green, taking the family down to Disney. Never knew about Edelweiss Lodge and Resort over there in the Bavarian Alps of Germany, and did not know about the Dragon Hill Lodge in Korea. A friend of mine is a big Space Aid travel kind of person. He said it'd be great if we put a link to the AMC Space Aid travel page, and then I discovered spaceaid.net that expands that out to all the branches and their passenger terminals. And I was unaware that as vets, we get a National Park Service military pass. You know, living in Northern Virginia, that I don't know for a fact, but I believe the Skyline Drive is included in that. I've taken my daughters up there numerous times, and I had no idea that I could get a pass for that. So the page itself is just about, you know, what it's more like a hub for resources for military people, so that you don't have to go digging. We've done the digging for you. And then when it comes to MyMilitaryConnection, I'm going to do a short video here in a bit about how to register and what to expect when you land within the site itself. But the heart of all this is to find a way to prevent people like my dad, who searched for years to find his friend, only to, you know, find out in the end that he missed him it wasn't even quite a year. And watching my dad go through that is what inspired me back then to think of the site. But at that time, I didn't have the tools or quite frankly, the knowledge to do it. The conversation that I had with my friend back in July reminded me of that. And when I was looking, there are sites out there that assist vets. There's a very nice lady that runs the military directory on Facebook that actually helped me find a friend of mine that it's been 30 years since I've talked to him. But she literally does this one by one, and she's been doing it since 2013. It's very useful. She's very skilled. She's knowledgeable, but she, you know, I've discussed this with her to a little bit. I said, you know, no offense, I'm going to try and put you out of business. And she said, good luck, because she works hard to help provide people and the kind of service that I hope this site will provide. So Uh, if you made it this far with me rambling along, like I said, this is all about bringing everybody back together again. I don't ever want to see that look in somebody's eyes like I saw my dad's. And if he was still with us, I think he'd be one of the first people to jump in here and start pounding away. So the site is all driven by users, sponsors, veterans, dependents. We aggregate no data. We collect no data from public records. We have done our best to keep the information to a minimum. We do ask for a date of birth, but we don't collect your actual birthday. And that's just for a demographic point of view, so that when people do a search and they're looking for a John Smith, they know the John Smith they're looking for is in his 40s, and the John Smith in his 20s is not the person they're looking for. So we've done our best to make this as clear as we could, while keeping everybody's data privacy in mind. The site is free. We will never ask anybody to pay for it. So if you made it all the way to the end here, I appreciate your patience. I know it was a bunch of rambling and just scrolling through the website, which you can do yourself, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of an introduction. Thank you, and I'll see you in the registration video. Promise it won't be quite so rambling. Have a good day.